Welcome back, beautiful souls. And as we step deeper into today's journey about recognizing people we've met across lifetimes, I invite you to settle in. Maybe close your eyes if you can, or just take a slow, deep, steady breath and feel yourself open to the idea that time is not linear, that your soul has traveled through countless experiences, and that love and connection never truly disappear. Before we begin, a quick hello to my listeners in Dieppe, France. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Now let's dive in. One of the most powerful ways we sense these eternal bonds is through the feeling of recognition. Have you ever locked eyes with someone and felt a spark of familiarity? It might not even make logical sense. They may be a stranger in this life, yet something in you whispers, I know you. That first recognition often comes in three forms: a sudden sense of comfort, like slipping into a favorite sweater, a rush of emotion, sometimes it's joy, sometimes unease, or a subtle deja vu, as if your soul is tugging on a thread that connects you to another time. Let's explore some real experiences that illustrate these moments. The first real life story is when Amy told me about her first day at a new job in London. She was nervous, adjusting to a fast paced environment, and as she entered a meeting room, she noticed a man across the table. And the moment their eyes met, she felt a wave of calm wash over her. She later described it as the feeling of finding a long lost friend in a sea of strangers. Over the weeks, they discovered an uncanny ease in their conversations. They shared similar values, finished each other's sentences, and even joked about deja vu. When Amy began exploring past life meditation, she had visions of herself as a young girl in 18th century Bengal. And in those visions, she saw her colleague as her older brother, fiercely protective of her. Their souls had traveled together before, and this recognition carried into their present lives. Amy's story shows us that instant comfort can be more than coincidence. It is often a sign that two souls are reconnecting to continue a bond of trust and love. Take a moment now. Think of someone in your own life who felt instantly familiar. It could be a friend, a colleague, or even someone you met briefly but never forgot. Notice the first feeling that arises when you picture that person. Was it warmth, curiosity, a sense of calm, or perhaps something more complicated? Hold that memory gently. Don't judge it, just notice what it stirs in you. Recognition is not always joyful. David, a musician from Canada, once shared with me how he had met a fellow performer at a festival, and from the first introduction, he felt this inexplicable discomfort around her. She hadn't done anything offensive, yet something about her presence made him tense. Instead of dismissing it, David explored the feeling through journaling and meditation. He eventually sought guidance from a past life regression therapist. And in the session, he saw flashes of a lifetime where he and this woman had been rivals in a small European village. Both had competed for the same opportunities, and their lives ended with bitterness between them. That uneasy recognition in this lifetime was his soul's way of reminding him, here is a chance to heal old wounds. Over time, instead of avoiding her, David chose kindness and collaboration. Slowly, that tension faded. What once felt like rivalry became a respectful partnership. His story reminds us that recognition does not always signal romance or friendship. Sometimes it highlights where healing is needed. You're still with me, so you must be enjoying this topic. Please take a moment to like, follow, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Why does this kind of recognition happen, though? Souls often travel in groups, sometimes called soul families. Within these families, souls play different roles for one another across lifetimes. One life you may be siblings, another life you might be parent and child, friends, or even adversaries. But the thread remains between you. Your souls are learning, growing, and balancing energy together. This explains why recognition feels so intense. It's not just the mind, but the soul remembering. This is another real life story, and I call it Layla's deja vu. Layla, a teacher, described meeting her best friend during a university course abroad. The first time she walked into class and sat beside her, she felt an overwhelming sense of deja vu, as though they've studied together before. That night, she dreamed of the two of them walking through a desert caravan dressed in flowing robes. And in the dream, they laughed and shared stories just as they did now. When she told her friend about the dream, her friend gasped because she had dreamed the exact same dream, only from her own perspective. The shared recognition blossomed into a deep, sister like bond. They often described each other as chosen family, and they supported one another through life's ups and downs. Layla's story reminds us that sometimes the soul reveals its memories through dreams, bringing two people closer in this lifetime. Now I invite you to close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so, and think of someone you know. Ask yourself, what role might this soul have played in my past lives? Don't force an answer, just notice what impressions arise. Perhaps a fleeting image, a feeling of closeness, or even a sense of conflict. Trust whatever comes, even if it's just a whisper. This is an affirmation for you to help with this process. You can repeat this aloud or just in your heart. I honor the recognition I feel in others. My soul remembers what my mind may not. Recognition across lifetimes isn't rare. It happens far more often than we realize because the soul carries memory far beyond the conscious mind. Each time you feel it, whether it is warmth, tension, or deja vu, it is your soul reminding you that life is an interconnected web. When we honor these moments, we open ourselves to greater understanding. Instead of labeling someone just familiar or simply triggering, we recognize the deeper possibility. This connection has meaning. This person is part of your soul's eternal journey. Remember this: recognition is the soul's way of tapping you on the shoulder. It invites you to pay attention, to look deeper, and to honor the possibility that you have walked with someone before. When you notice that spark of familiarity, ask inwardly, what is my soul remembering? The answer may not come instantly, but in time it will unfold. I want to talk a little bit about emotional intensity and the lessons around that, because as we continue exploring how to recognize souls you've met across lifetimes, we do need to dive into one of the most undeniable signs, which is emotional intensity. When a soul re-enters your life, the emotional reaction is often disproportionate to the circumstances. Maybe you've only just met, yet your feelings run so deep it takes your breath away. Or perhaps you've known someone for weeks, but the bond feels stronger than with people you've known for years. That intensity, whether it's joy, love, conflict, or sorrow, is a hallmark of soul recognition. Many people describe that as a magnetic pull. You're drawn to this person and you can't explain why. You may feel compelled to be near them, or you think of them constantly, even when it makes no sense. It isn't just infatuation, it's your soul recognizing a long-standing connection and urging you to pay attention. Here's another real-life story for you: Miguel's lightning love. Miguel, an artist from Mexico City, shared how he once met a woman while traveling in Spain. Their connection was immediate and overwhelming. Within days, they were inseparable. He said it felt like picking up a conversation that never ended. But as quickly as their love bloomed, challenges surfaced, trust issues, jealousy, and old fears crept in. It was confusing. How could something that felt so destined also feel so difficult? Through regression therapy, Miguel saw that he and this woman had lived multiple lifetimes together as lovers, but their relationships often ended in betrayal or misunderstanding. In this lifetime, their souls had chosen to meet again not just to rekindle passion, but to resolve those old patterns. While the romance eventually ended, Miguel realized its true purpose. It had taught him to confront and heal wounds he had carried for centuries. His story shows us that emotional intensity doesn't always mean forever. Sometimes it means unfinished business. Take a deep breath with me again and think of someone who stirred powerful emotions in you. Maybe joy, maybe pain, and ask yourself, could this bond be deeper than it appears on the surface? What lesson might your soul be learning through this connection? Here's another real life story, Hannah's challenging teacher. Not all soul reunions bring comfort. Hannah, a nurse, once had a supervisor who seemed to trigger her endlessly. No matter what she did, the supervisor criticized her. At first, Hannah thought it was simply a personality clash, but the intensity of her frustration and sadness felt strangely outsized. During a meditation retreat, Hannah had a vision of herself in a past life where she was a student and her current supervisor was her strict teacher. The echoes of that dynamic, authority and submission, approval and disapproval, were repeating in this lifetime. This awareness gave Hannah a choice. She could continue the old pattern of resentment, or she could choose a new response. She began practicing compassion toward her supervisor, seeing her as a soul partner in her growth. And though the relationship did not become warm, Hannah's perspective shifted. The dynamic lost its sting. Her story illustrates that soul connections often arise as teachers, especially the difficult ones. Let's talk about the purpose behind emotional intensity. Why are these bonds so overwhelming? It's because the soul is nudging us, pay attention. Here lies growth. When the feelings are blissful, we're reminded of love's eternal nature. When the feelings are painful, we're invited to heal old wounds. When the feelings are confusing, we're challenged to discern the difference between attachment and purpose. I have another real life story for you. This is about Samuel and Nora's reunion. Samuel, a businessman, described meeting a woman named Nora at a conference. And from the first conversation, he felt a deep tenderness toward her, though they had just met. And over time, they discovered an ease in speaking about their inner worlds, something both had rarely experienced. But the bond was not romantic, it was familial. In dreams, Samuel saw himself as a young boy in a village with Nora as his mother. The depth of love he felt for her in that dream mirrored the unexplained tenderness he felt in the presence. And recognizing this, they honored their connection as a chosen family, supporting each other without needing to fit conventional roles. This is another important reminder. Not every intense connection is meant to be romantic. Sometimes it's the return of paternal love, sibling bonds, or friendships carried across centuries. Think of someone who stirs or has stirred deep emotions in you. Ask inwardly, is this bond about romance? Or is it about family, healing, or support? What role might this soul be playing for me now? Allow your heart, not your mind, to answer that for you. Next, I want to go into karmic ties and soul contracts, because at the root of many intense connections are karmic ties and soul contracts. Before we enter this lifetime, our souls often make agreements with other souls. I'll help you learn this lesson, and you'll help me with that. Sometimes these lessons are painful, but always purposeful. When you feel overwhelming emotion with someone, it's worth considering, what soul contract might we be fulfilling? Are we here to forgive each other, to finish what was left undone, to remind each other of love? These questions shift us from being swept away by emotion into consciously navigating it. Here's an affirmation for you to help with this. Place your hand over your heart and repeat, I honor the intensity of my soul connections. Each one guides me to healing and growth. You say these affirmations every morning, every night, the ones that really resonate for you, that you feel like you need, and really work on that until you feel that they have become so true for you, you don't need them anymore. This is just a little simple practice you can do. The next time you feel strong emotions around a person, pause before you react. Take 3 deep breaths and then silently ask, what is my soul trying to show me through this connection? Sometimes the answer will be immediate. Other times it will reveal itself through dreams, synchronicities, or quiet moments of reflection. Keep in mind that emotional intensity is not random. It's the echoes of lifetimes past, calling your attention to lessons waiting to be learned. Whether the connection is blissful or difficult, again, it's always purposeful. So trust the pull, honor the lessons, and know that every soul who stirs your heart is part of your eternal circle. As we journey deeper now into the ways souls recognize each other across lifetimes, I want to invite you into one of the most magical realms of connection, and that is the language of signs, synchronicities, and dreams. Our logical mind loves to dismiss these things as coincidence, but the soul whispers otherwise. When two souls are meant to reconnect, the universe often sprinkles clues along the path. Dreams that foreshadow the meeting, synchronicities that align you again and again, or that uncanny deja vu that makes you feel like you've walked this path before. Souls rarely shout. They speak in subtle, symbolic ways. That's why synchronicity is so powerful. It's the universe arranging events so that two souls cannot miss their appointment with destiny. It could be repeatedly seeing the same numbers or symbols when you think of someone, running into them in unlikely places multiple times, or discovering your life paths have been weaving together long before you consciously met. Here's another real life story for you called Sophia's Dream Connection. Sophia, a student, once told me she had a recurring dream since childhood. And in the dream, Sophia walked hand in hand with a boy through cobblestone streets. The feeling was warm, familiar, and filled with laughter. Years later, while studying abroad in Italy, she met a fellow student who not only resembled the boy from her dreams, but who was quite literally from the exact same town that appeared in those dreamscapes. Their connection was instant, and as their friendship grew, she shared the dream with him. He fell silent and then admitted he had experienced similar recurring dreams of walking with a girl in the same streets. For them, dreams were the soul's way of bridging the gap across time, preparing them for their reunion. Think for a moment. Have you ever dreamed about someone before meeting them? Or dreamed of places or scenarios that later became part of your reality? These are not random. They are breadcrumbs from your soul, guiding you toward recognition. This next real life story is called Jonah's Sign. Jonah, a writer from the United States, described a series of synchronicities that led him back to a childhood friend he hadn't seen in 30 years. He kept encountering her name on street signs and books and even overheard in conversations. One day, he stumbled upon a cafe he'd never noticed before, and there she was, sitting at a corner table. When they reconnected, both were shocked to realize how often their lives had paralleled, moving to the same cities at different times, studying similar fields, even sharing mutual friends without knowing it. The universe had been weaving them back together until the time was right. Jonah said, it felt like destiny was tapping me on the shoulder over and over until I finally listened. Why did these signs show up? Because recognition is not just a private experience, it's also a cosmic alignment. Your higher self, your soul, your guides, the angels, the energy of the universe are all conspiring to help you notice what your soul already knows. Some people notice repeating numbers like 1111, 222, or 444 when they're around a significant connection. Others experience songs playing at just the right moment or objects appearing as reminders. When you pay attention to synchronicity, You begin to see the web of connection that extends beyond the physical. This real life story is called Mandy's Deja Vu. A lot of deja vu going on today. Mandy, an entrepreneur, recalled meeting a business partner at a conference, and from the first handshake, she was overwhelmed by a sense of deja vu. The way he spoke, his mannerisms, even the way he laughed, it all felt like she had experienced it before. Later, while traveling together for work, they visited a coastal city neither had been to in this lifetime. Yet as they walked down an old harbor street, both stopped in their tracks. They each felt they had walked there together before, centuries earlier. That sense of deja vu was not just a trick of memory, it was a soul memory, a reminder of a shared past life experience that anchored their partnership in the presence. I invite you to think about a time you felt deja vu. I have so much deja vu. Maybe it was a place you've never visited, yet it felt like home, or a person you barely knew yet felt instantly familiar. Ask yourself, could this be a soul memory resurfacing? Dreams are one of the most common ways souls communicate recognition. In dreams, the logical mind relaxes and the soul has space to speak. You might dream of people before you meet them. You might dream of different time periods with familiar faces, or you may receive guidance about the role a person will play in your current life. If you wake up from a dream with a strong emotional impression of someone, pay attention. The soul often plants those seeds for a reason. Practice journaling. Keep a dream journal by your bed. Each morning, jot down any faces, names, feelings from your dreams. Even if it seems insignificant, patterns will often emerge. Over time, you may notice recurring characters who appear just before they enter your waking life. Here's another affirmation. Repeat after me. I trust the signs, the synchronicities, and the dreams that guide my soul. They lead me to truth and connection. And again, if this feels good, this is a good one for you. Say it every morning, every night until you have really made this part of who you are. You feel it to your soul. I want to do a short exercise together. Close your eyes if you can. Imagine yourself standing on a quiet path. In the distance, you see a figure approaching. And as they come closer, notice how you feel. Do they stir warmth, curiosity, nervousness, or just a sense of deja vu? Allow your soul to whisper, do I know this being? Don't force an answer, just notice what arises. This simple visualization can help you tune into recognition when you meet new people in your life. Dreams, synchronicities, and deja vu are not accidents. They are the language of the soul. They remind us that time is layered, the connections weave across centuries, and that when two souls are meant to meet, the universe will orchestrate the reunion with perfect precision. So the next time you feel that uncanny sense of recognition, or you see signs repeating around a person, trust it. Your soul is speaking, reminding you this connection is part of your eternal journey. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Tune in next Sunday when the topic is my guest, Dr. Nicole Dolan. She's going to be talking about how we are made and how we remake ourselves. In the meantime, may your angels surround you. May your angels protect you. Every moment, every day of your life. There will be a part 2 to this episode, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next week.